Hey, it's Ubu, and today we're playing the demo for a game called Still With Me. It's developed by Marius94, and you can find the game on itch.io. And as always, we're going to sit back, relax, and play through the game, and at the end of the video, I will give a detailed review and give the game my final judgment. Now let me tell you about the game, and we'll get started. Still With Me is a short psychological horror demo about returning to your old apartment to retrieve your laptop. A place that used to be home, now filled with unsettling events and signs of a presence that knows you far too well. Now that you know what the game is about, let's begin. Well, just throws us right into it. Okay. You return to your old apartment to retrieve your laptop. Nice. Spend the night until morning. Okay. Objective. Find apartment 7. I don't want to be that guy, but spending the night makes... kind of already tells me that I'll be there until the morning. But that's okay. A little stuttery. Don't know if there's any... Nope, there's no graphic options. Unfortunate. Here's 7. Oh my god. Who's there? Oh, you're just gonna stay there? Turn electricity back on. Alright, you just wait there. Little living room situation. If I were to turn the power back on, where would I do that? It's mad dark in here. Alright. Is it out here? Interesting. I don't know what we do. I don't know, let's go in here. It's definitely just giving off, like, wrong floor vibes. Oh, here we go. Find a place to sleep. I know I'm blocking the objectives, but we're just gonna have to deal with it. I will read all the objectives for you. Let's turn this light on. Whoa. My computer lately has just really not liked certain games. I don't know what it is, but we're a vampire. Okay, we're not going to sleep in the tub. Maybe we'll just sleep on the couch. Clean up the room. Oh, God. We got ourselves a cleaning simulator. What is that noise? What does that say? Something dust? Take the trash downstairs? Okay. We can sprint, so that's good. Down here. Alright. Mission accomplished. Yeah, wrong floor, I think is developed by N4BA. That was weird. They made the game, like, From the Darkness, which I've yet to play. But it looks like it's a lot of fun. Repair the sofa. Alright. Yeah, it has just this, like, weird vibe. Just oppressive atmosphere, which I quite like so far. It's pretty good. Is the sofa prepared? Whose baby is that? I don't have a baby. Okay. I'm just clicking things. My art is missing. What the heck? Hearing all kinds of weird noises. Oh, there we go. We needed the blanket off the floor. Oh no, the power went out. What do we do? I just fixed the power. The thing is still standing there. That's really funny. Oh. 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 What's happening? This place is haunted. Alrighty then. Let's turn the lights back on. Oh, look at the moths. Nice. Is that an Easter egg for me? I'm just kidding. I haven't got an Easter egg in a game yet, but that's okay. Maybe one day. I've been in credits for games, which is cool. It doesn't matter. I didn't like that. That's a pretty good looking ceiling fan. Very convincing. Oh, alright, all kinds of stuff is happening now. That is in the doorway. I'm not sure what's happening, but it's scary. Maybe that's just like a statue. Oh. Hey. I'm knocking on my own bathroom door. Can I come in? Entity, whoever you are. Why there's no light in here? What's going on with that? Alright, nobody's in here. I haven't had an objective in a while, so I don't really know what we're doing. They'd like prepare the couch, and then everything took a turn. Interesting. A big TV. Bet it weighs 300 pounds. Alright, well, we can't get in there. You know what I should do? Alright. Oh, there's a key in here. I thought to myself, maybe there was something in the bathroom that I missed. There we go. I'm so smart. Oh, God. Knife in the kitchen? That seems about right. It's a nice green. Okay, trying to process all of this. We got a knife. Oh, there's my laptop. Leave. What kind of music is that? Well, I guess I wasn't that far off. It is a statue? Mannequin thing? Gross. They had a key, too. Alright, thanks. See you later. key go to here? What is happening? Girl power. That's right. It's just a bunch of mannequins in here. That's normal, right? Maybe we're a fashion designer and... Alright, well... A flashlight. Yes, this is very similar to Wrong Floor now. Oh, shiz. End of demo. Thank you for playing. You are welcome. It also says wishlist the full game on Steam. Don't forget to do that. Alright, well now I'm back on the main menu where I will review this demo and just talk about my general impressions of what we experienced today. And if you're just here for the gameplay, I appreciate you hanging out and hope to see you again. Now, as always, I start with visuals in my reviews, and I quite like the game visually. Even though it's quite dark, I still like the use of lighting where it's appropriate, like turning the lights on. Just the glow coming from, the windows from outside looks really cool. And there's just a very convincing, strange realism about the game. Nice graphics fidelity. I like the staircase being just filled with junk, and it's just like this decrepit, just weird place to live. Like, I don't know how else to really say that, but I do like the visual presentation. I think the mannequins look a bit odd. They're just like an odd kind of mannequin. I've never seen mannequins like that before, but still pretty cool stuff in general. I think it's very creepy and strange to walk around in this place, and the visual presentation, I think, does a really good job with supporting the tone of the game, so I think that works really well. I will say the main menu, though, visually is not very convincing, I suppose. I mean, I don't mind the blurred background, but I would maybe clean up the main menu a little bit and just give it a little bit better presentation in general, especially the fact that the volume and sensitivity slider are just kind of there. I like to talk about main menus as well. I just wanted to bring that up. Just more of a personal observation, so no big deal. So in general, I would say the visuals are totally fine. In terms of audio, there is a ominous, droning, like low vibe going on here on the main menu, which I think is really good. I think it just creates just a nice subtle sense of dread before you even play the game, and I think that's a nice first impression here with the main menu. So really cool stuff there. And well, actually, in-game, the same kind of ominous tone sort of plays throughout. It has some moments where it becomes a little bit more dynamic with certain events happening around us, the music itself or the ambience itself. And I think that helps carry the tone of the game throughout and sort of emphasize certain events. And I like how that's done. So great job with that. Now, the actual scares in the game and the environmental sounds around us, like the baby crying, stuff like that, I think is fine. I don't know why I maybe sort of expected more of like a climactic sort of jump scare or something towards the end. Maybe that would have been cliche in this kind of game, but I think I still would have maybe wanted just maybe one time where the game like really tries to get me, but I appreciate the subtleness, the subtlety of your approach to this and the audio design with the scares especially. It's just more about things peeking at you or distant sounds in the apartment and the baby and stuff breaking or falling over. Stuff like that I think works really well. I think I just maybe would have preferred a little bit more of a dynamic approach to that. Like I said, maybe just one good time of something really jumping out and getting us. But it's just more of a personal preference, I suppose. Of course, you also have some environmental sounds like us hitting doors, knocking on doors, trying to open doors, using the keys, interacting with the light switches and stuff like that. So I appreciate the attention to detail there as well. But aside from everything I've talked about, nothing in the audio really stands out all that much, but I do appreciate the subtlety and the ominous feeling that the game gives us with its ambient music. So great job with that. Now, in terms of mechanics, the game is pretty straightforward. It's kind of on rails. or less. It's also maybe like sequences that we have to achieve our objectives. And then as we do our objectives, different things happen, more events trigger, more scares, appear and try to get us. And it creates this nice flow. I think it's paced well. It doesn't feel like we're doing too much of a checklist. Of course, you have to get to the apartment, and then you have to get the couch ready and turn the power back on. And it's pretty basic, but I like the way the game's tone was paced with our objectives, if that makes sense. It starts out very weird, obviously, with this thing covered up with a sheet in the apartment, and then there's a woman peeking around the couch and standing in the door and all this other stuff. So I think while the game is very mechanically simple, I still think it's effectively presented, and I enjoyed it. I wish there was a little bit more to do, maybe a little bit more scares, but obviously with a full game, they'll have a lot more opportunity to do that. I think what was presented here mechanically is a decent foundation, at least, so great job with that. Now, in terms of story and concept, the story so far is just us going back to our apartment to get our laptop, and really weird stuff starts to happen. So aside from that, I don't know what else to really say. I don't know who the girl is, if that's us or someone we lived with, maybe a roommate, even though I think it was like only one bedroom, so I'm not really sure. And then there's the baby crying, which might infer something related to the story. I'm not sure. Or unless it's just a creepy baby. That's all it is. It could just be that. But we also have the mannequins, which is interesting. And the girl sitting on the dresser turned into a mannequin. And then she was standing in the doorway. So I'm not really sure how to interpret the story necessarily. So hopefully in the full game they can flesh that out maybe a little bit. Maybe it's not as complicated as I'm making it out to be. It is just maybe a scary game about a girl. Maybe she went missing or something, or I don't know. And like I said, maybe it's us and we're not really alive and we're some kind of ghost or something. Maybe we're haunting her, and it just like this weird inverse or of a haunting. Maybe we were thinking that, but anyways, I think the story, there's not much to say about it. I don't think it's a big deal, but it's just a decent starting point, I suppose, and it's maybe a little hard to interpret. You didn't get a whole lot. It's just go home, get your laptop, scary stuff happens at the end. So I realize it's a demo, so not that big a deal. And conceptually, I think the game is really cool. Like I said, it reminds me of games like Wrong Floor and things like that. Very ominous, dread-inducing vibes, and I really like that in games like this. I really like playing these kind of games, and like I said, I wish there was maybe a little bit more to do in the demo, but still a solid foundation. In terms of performance and settings, the game's performance is hit or miss. It stuttered a lot for me in some areas, especially at the beginning. It looked like it got a little bit better as we walked around the apartment itself, but exploring the stairwell early on and things like that, there was a lot of issues with the stuttering and whatnot, which was very distracting, and there are no options to adjust that, unfortunately, but I think it was fine still. I wish it didn't stutter, so that can definitely be optimized and fine-tuned to some degree. Maybe it's my computer, it's been acting funny lately, I don't know, so I won't necessarily hold that against the game too much, but I still would like to see smoother performance in the future. And also, I talk about options during this segment, and there's only two options, which is your volume slider and your sensitivity slider, which I think is fine for a demo. Unfortunately, with the game having odd performance, the lack of options to maybe adjust that is a bit disappointing. But at the end of the day, I understand demos are just to basically showcase generally what to expect from the full game. I wish this had a little bit better stability with its performance. But like I said, it smoothed out here and there. It wasn't like the entire demo I was stuttering and anything, and I didn't have any crashes or bugs or anything. So I'll give credit where it's due, and I would say the performance and the options are okay. So my final judgment for the Still With Me demo is I would say it's good. I had a good time with it. I really like its visual presentation. I like its approach to its subtle, ominous, dreadful vibe and atmosphere that it has. Excuse me. And while mechanically there's not much to do in the game, I still think it's a pretty solid foundation for what to expect in the full game. Hopefully they can really expand the scares, really catch you off guard, create even more of a sense of dread, and just go all in on it. And I think it'll go really well in that direction. So awesome job with that. And while there's not much story to really talk about, I don't mind its starting point, I suppose. The story just kind of gets us to where we need to be, and then that's really it. So not a big deal either way. I do like the concept of the game. It's very reminiscent of games that I've played, like Wrong Floor that I've mentioned. I think it's really cool stuff there, and the performance is sort of hit or miss, and there is a pretty big lack of options, which hopefully can be adjusted and fine-tuned going forward into the full game. Overall, I would say it was fun. I wish I got a little bit more out of it, but like I've continued to say, it's a solid foundation and a decent first impression, which I think is important for a demo. So awesome job all the way around, and I'm excited to see where you go with this. So I wish you the best of luck on your future endeavors and your work. Tell me what you think in the comments below. What are your thoughts on this game? Do you agree or disagree with me? Do you have anything to add? You just want to say hi? Let me know what's up. Don't forget to check the pinned comment below for the links to everything and go play this game for yourself and form your own opinion. And I'm sure the developer would really appreciate your feedback as well as mine. And if you'd like to support my channel, hit subscribe, leave a like, comment, share the video, and also have links to my socials in the description if that interests you. Now, thank you for watching my video. I hope you have a wonderful day, but I think that's all I have to say about it, so thanks for hanging out with me. But don't forget.
The pale moth is always watching.